Hi everybody, it's Will NY4 and I'm back with a follow-up video on the video I posted a couple days ago on how to carry over your inventory into NG+. So, as you, I'm sure you remember, there are 5 steps involved here. I hope I can remember them. The first one is you, of course, have to back up the inventory using the console command. Then you trigger your NG+, then you go through the credits of the uh, process, end up in the corridor of the starship where you choose your variant universe. Then you can restore your player inventory, go to the lodge, and restore the legendary features and reattach them to your weapons. At the end of my last video, when I was kind of wrapping things up, I expressed a lot of caution about this process, particularly because the carryover inventory mod is an old one and it does use console commands, so that creates complications for a lot of you guys. But in any event, I did get it to work. And after I finished the video, I spent a little bit of time studying this and practicing, and actually have figured out it really does work. And you can see I'm now up to the top Guardian Starship 6, starting from 2, and found that I could just repeat this process and it worked perfectly every time. But of course, I can't guarantee that that will work for you. Before we get into the details of what I figured out and how it really works, I want to make note of the fact that I just saw a new mod on Creations Club, which is the same as one that's been in Nexus mods for a while, that allows you to carry over your individual items. That is, whatever you're wearing and whatever you're featuring or carrying in your, as far as weapons and so on. And I'm sure that that works fine, but there's nothing that I've seen that really can match this one in terms of really being able to carry everything over. But let's look behind the curtain here to see really how it works. I created 2 different mod lists to show you guys today. This first one, bare bones, would be the minimum that you would need to have to make this work. It includes all of the main mods which I've listed in my original video, and of course I'll list below. In the second list, I did 2 things. One, I added a bunch of mods which I really am not familiar with and don't know if I'm going to keep, but just as examples of mods that you might have to test whether they would have any trouble in moving over through NG. For example, the Constellation Field Uniform, Gemini Rifle, KZ Constellation, Overpowered Weapon Pack, and Storm Commando Armor were just there as examples. But then there's a couple other ones which I think are really going to make your life a lot easier. Primarily SKK Universal Stash. You see it, it's about 6 or 7 up from the bottom. This spot is going to permit you to move back and forth from your spaceship to the basement of the lodge, where you can do all your work of restoring weapons and of course go up and beat whoever's waiting for you in your universe upstairs. The Dark Star mods are also wonderful mods, and I think that you would do well to have them. In fact, I am going to do a short video that shows you how this all will work with the Universal Stash moving back and forth from the spaceship to the Lodge, and then the Dark Star and Legendary Recycler mods that show you how you can restore the features to your weapons. One thing I forgot to mention is that in both of these mod lists, what you see is the load order. So you should just take note of that. So somehow the program whittled away a lot of mass. I don't understand how that happened or why, but yeah, no problem for me. As long as some of those credits are still there. I mean, this is an example of what happened. These are resources, and the aldemite was 0.19 and then 0.14. Again, this is after the application of the reducing the weights or masses of the materials. But you can see that that this is pretty consistent across all the minerals here. The weapons are really interesting. The top four come from this overpowered weapons pack. And you could see the damage numbers for a couple of them were astronomical. I don't know why that happened. A few lines down, you see the Gemini 50 millimeter was renamed as the Age Mini, and it's now got 1572, which is the same, so that stayed the same. But the weapons that you see with the Mark III and Mark II, those are all Dark Star weapons. And the way that it works, you work your way up through Mark II to Mark III. You can add more enhancements as you move up to scale. Well, it's clear that it stripped out the enhancements and just take the hard target went from down as like it's 4086 down to 972. It's still Mark III. And it's similar with the other weapons. So at the workbench, I can, or well, I guess they are the workbenches in Dark Star. I can add the vial characteristics and build them right up again, because a lot of the modules that are necessary to do this came over, and we'll look at that in a couple minutes. Spacesuits. Here you can see that the antioxidant or anti-exynos suit X, whatever that is, it went from 426 to 282, lost some strength, and the Mark I was a Dark Star, went down to 198, probably that's its vanilla level. Space helmets, here we see another one, went down from 348 to 228. Here's all those uniforms and apparel that I downloaded. They all went over without any changes. Here are my credits from Magnus the Magnate. Again, came over, no problem. And here's what I was referring to in terms of the diodes and modules for both of the Dark Star and Module Recycler. They all came over too. So that's the summary, guys. And as I mentioned before, I found this now to be painless. Just a few minutes to wait while the credits roll in the NG system. But, now I'm up at Guardian 6. I think I'm going to stop here and now spend some time rebuilding my outpost with the new knowledge that I have about time differences in Starfield. I hope you'll take a look at that. I'm going to leave a link to my first video up above here on this topic, because some of you may have missed it, and it really gives you more details about how you actually go about and do it. So if you like it, thumbs up, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.